Good evening, everybody. This is Big Thoughts coming at you. Today, I wanted to bring and present something to each and every one of you that may shed some light and give grave insight. If you don't know your rights, you don't have any. I'm going to say this again. If you do not know your rights, you don't have any. Now, if you get pulled over, you got rights. If you walk in the streets and law enforcement approaches you, you still have rights. Even in your wrongs, you have rights. Tony got locked up. Tony was stopped. Allegedly, Tony was speeding and had a tag light out. He was pulled over for speeding and tag light improper. Tony has driver's license registration and proof of insurance. However, Officer Jenkins says to Tony, "Let me see your license and registration." Tony then says, "Why am I being pulled over?" The officer tells him, "Tony, you were running 53 in this 40. Tony says, "Okay, I was." The officer gets all of Tony's information, goes to his vehicle, comes back, and tells Tony, "Here's your speeding violation, and here's your traffic citation. If you show up for court, I will drop it down to 2 points." As he was leaving, Officer Jenkins, that is, Tony's car, he said, "Why do you look nervous? Are you under the influence? Is there something in the car that I don't need to know about? Maybe a gun, maybe drugs, maybe drug paraphernalia. Just be honest with me, Tony. It won't be a problem." Tony said, "There's nothing in my car." However, Officer Jenkins continues to pursue and violate Tony's rights by asking him to step out of the car. Tony steps out of the car, which was a grave mistake. He was already handed his citation and his traffic violation. Now, it goes farther, but let me say this. When you're pulled over, there are 3 questions. Why you pull me over? Am I under arrest? And am I free to go now? Only 3 questions you have to ask the officer. If they're not giving you a citation, they're not taking you to jail, they have no further reason to incriminate you, defame you, or detain you. Back to Tony. Tony stepped out that car. Now guess what? He's in detainment because Tony didn't know his rights. Officer Jenkins searches the car. He does find an open container in the back seat under some clothing. He also finds marijuana joint in the floor on the passenger side. He asks Tony, "Whose stuff is this?" You told me there was nothing illegal in the car. Now you're under arrest for open container, as well as a cannabis charge of simple possession of marijuana. He arrests Tony and takes Tony to jail. Tony gets a bond, but Tony can't make the bond. So he sits and he sits and he sits. Tony's car was towed, impounded, but his family did get the car. Now, Tony is sitting waiting on his court hearing proceedings and pretrial stages. He was given a public defender or public pretender. His public pretender come and see him one time the entire time he's sitting and offer him a plea. He tells Tony, the open container will get your license suspended. The marijuana will as well. But if you take this plea today, they are willing to dismiss the simple possession of marijuana, but you will have the open container, which will cause a suspension of license. Tony says, I'm not going to do that because he had no reason to search my car. Under the Fourth Amendment, you have a right for your attorney to challenge it under the Terry stop. He should have challenged that stop. He should have got the video footage. He should have got the officer's notes and challenged that stop. However, he did not. First thing he was supposed to do was compile and compel this officer's notes and anything tangible. Under the rules, you have a right to have your full discovery, which meaning any and all things attached to the case under Brady material, Jinx material, and Giglio material. You have those rights. Your attorney should protect your rights. You have a Sixth Amendment right to be protected by your attorney for effective, competent assistance of counsel. Tony's attorney failed him. Not once did Tony's attorney request any of his discovery, nor any of the officer's notes. Therefore, Tony accepts the plea, found guilty. One case dismissed of marijuana, but he still had the open container. Tony's rights were abandoned. How could his rights have been protected? Well, Tony can't get a protection of his rights because he's taken a plea. No, wrong answer. Tony can file against his attorney for IAC, better known as ineffective assistance of counsel, for his lawyer failing to protect his Sixth Amendment right as well as his Fourth Amendment right to illegal detainment and an illegal search and seizure. If you do not know your rights, you don't have any. Don't get out here and do something if you don't know your rights. You are protected only if you know your rights. This is Big Thoughts, and I'm signing off now. But I will return with valuable information as this to enlighten those who need it, the innocent until proven guilty, or the guilty until proven innocent. How do you choose? Great day. Salutations.